Welcome to the tutorial on simulation of monostable multivibrator using Multisim. Here we have presented the circuit of the monostable multivibrator using 555 timer IC, and the corresponding waveforms have been presented with respect to the input that is given, that is the clock signal having a voltage 10 volt peak to peak, and a frequency can be varied from 1 kHz to 8 kHz. The waveforms corresponding to pin number 2, pin number 3 and pin number 7 are given. In the design, what we are going to consider is, we will consider a VCC equal to 10 volt, a pulse width which is computed to be equal to 1.1 into RC, and this theoretical computation of the pulse width we have already seen in the tutorial when we explained the working principle of the monostable multivibrator. For the simulation purpose, we will consider the capacitor to have a value of 0.01 microfarad, and the value of R is chosen to be equal to 3.9 kilo ohms. By substituting the value of R and C, we get the value of the pulse width to be equal to 0.0429 millisecond. So using these values, let us simulate and check out whether we can get the theoretical values and the practical values approximately the same. And one more observation that we need to make here is that it is the pin number 3 which produces the output, and the positive pulse width is attained for a small duration of the input, during which the input is negative. So it is the positive pulse width attained during the negative pulse of the input waveform, and the width of the waveform obtained at pin number 2 will be same as that of the width of the pulse width of the input, and the width of the waveform corresponding to pin number 7 is same as that of pin number 3. So these observations have to be made in the simulation circuit. So I am going to start with the rigging up of the circuit of the monostable multivibrator. I require to provide a clock signal. So I have selected a clock signal of 1 kHz and a 5 volt, and I am doing the connections. In order to measure the output, I am going to use the oscilloscope as well as the Tektronix oscilloscope, so that I can visualize my waveforms at different pins very accurately. So I have connected a probe here in order to measure the output, and I am also connecting the probe to measure the input. So as you can see, I have given the channel 1 or the Tektronix oscilloscope to the output, that is pin number 3, and I have connected the second channel to the input. So this waveform, the blue waveform that you see, corresponds to the input signal. Now I am going to change the input voltage to 10 volt because that is what we have seen in the design. And you can see that now the output waveform is very clearly visible. I am going to change the voltage per division so that I know the exact waveform as to where it appears. That is, when my input is negative, my output should be a positive value. So that is what I get here very clearly. So the probe 2 in the Tektronix corresponds to the input, and you can see that the peak to peak voltage is 10 volt and having a frequency of 1 kHz. And the same thing is visible using an ordinary oscilloscopes. So you can see the waveform now. And my output voltage is fluctuating between 9.98 volt to 10 volt, which is visible in the probe 1. Now what I will do is, I will change the frequency because I have given 1 kilohertz. So I will change it to 5 kilohertz and see whether I get the output or no. So if you observe, with 5 kilohertz frequency I do not get the output because the amplitude is set with VCC equal to 10 volt, and even in the manual it is very specifically told that try to keep the frequency within 1 to 2 kilohertz. Input is very accurate, it comes as 5 kilohertz, but output you do not get. So let me change the frequency again, so say 2 kilohertz, and see whether I get the output or not. So I've changed it to 3, 2, and finally I retain it to 1 kilo because I get only at 1 kilohertz frequency the output. And as you can see here, during the negative edge of the input I obtain the output waveform. So next what I need to do is, I need to check the output waveforms at pin number 2 and pin number 7. So I am going to use the channel 3 and 4 of my Tektronix oscilloscope to observe the output at pin number 2 and pin number 7. So as you can see, pin number 4 is connected to the discharge, and I am even going to use probe so that I can measure accurately. So this pink color waveform is the waveform corresponding to pin number 2, which is more like a pulse waveform. So I will now change the amplitude and you can clearly observe the output. The green color corresponds to the pin number 7, and I am supposed to be getting something like a charging output. Charging of the capacitor output. So I will vary the time division scale to verify the waveform, and you can see there is some amount of distortion, and the similar distortion was also found when we had done the hardware implementation. So that is also visible here. You can clearly see there are two charging type of waveforms instead of a single charging type. Little amount of distortion is incurred. So I will connect the probes to both pin number 2 and pin number 7. So as you can see, the probe corresponding to pin number 3 is the output, which is having an output voltage approximately 9.97 volt, close to 10 volt. And if you observe the negative pulse of that particular waveform, you will notice that it is having a negative pulse width of 913 microseconds. If you would have clearly observed in the tutorial here, when the simulation was going on, it is close to 913 microseconds and the frequency is 1 kilohertz. The positive pulse width corresponding to pin number 3 is 86.4 microsecond, and Theoretically, we had obtained it to be equal to 0.042 millisecond, or I can say practically we are obtaining it to be 0.086 milliseconds. So practically and theoretical values are varying, whereas the probe 3, which corresponds to the pin number 2, you can see that the value is close to 15.7 volt peak to peak, and if you keep it in DC, you can even see the shift change of 1 by 3 VCC. And the last probe, that is the pin number 4, and the last probe, that is probe 4, corresponding to the pin number 7, has a voltage of close to 6.74 volts peak to peak. So you can vary the voltage per division and also seconds per division and clearly note down how much is the shift. Mainly you should see to it that the pin number 2 is kept in the DC so that you can observe the 1 by 3 VCC shift in the waveform.